Movies. Movies. We all love them. And 2023, as we're coming to the end of the year, we are coming to the end, and there's been a lot of them. There's been a lot of movies that have come out this year, in the year 2023. And I'm not going to lie, but there is 64 titles from this year that I haven't watched. And yet in this video, you guys are going to be seeing my top 20 movies from 2023. Now, before I do go into that, I'm going to go through all 64 titles that I've not yet watched this year, which, by the way, you guys can probably expect to see me talk about during my movie wrap-up in episodes in 2024 right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. So, I've got still left to watch from 2023. I've still got Fear the Night, 8 Found Dead, Baghead, Rise of the Foot Soldier, Vengeance, Scrapper, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, The Old Oak, My Animal, The Great Escaper, Sisu, Polite Society, Muzzle, All Souls, Baby Shark's Big Movie, How to Have Sex, Mafia Mama, Godzilla -1, The Kill Room, Night of the Missing, The Inventor, Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie, The Royal Hotels, Some Motherhood, The Family Plan, Please Don't Destroy Treasure of Foggy Mountain, Squealer, Hell House Origins, Sick Girl, Susie Searches, Butcher's Crossing, The Mill, Finest Kind, NYAD, What Happens Later, Saltburn, Cat Person, The Marsh King's Daughter, Flora and Son, Fingernails, Maestro, Foe, Ferrari, Napoleon, Next Goal Wins, Priscilla, The Hill, Dreaming Wild, Medusa Deluxe, Past Lives, Dear David, Quiz Lady, Sound of Freedom, The Machine, Wrath of Becky, Master Gardener, Killers of the Flower Moon, Brooklyn 45, Anyone But You, Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, Eileen, The Archies, Rebel Moon Part 1, Leo, and Wonka. There we go. That's all 64 titles that I'm still left to watch from this year, and I will probably be reviewing in 2024 as part of my movie wrap-up episodes when they come back in the new year. In the meantime, though, before I do move on and show you my top 20 movies of 2023, my final top 20 movies of 2023, let's go back by like 5-6 months to July 2023. This, my friends, is how the list was looking all the way back in July this year. So obviously you had Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey at number 20, The Honeymoon at number 19, Unseen at number 18, Cocaine Bear at number 17, Megan at number 16, Scream 6 at number 15, Beau is Afraid at number 14, No Hard Feelings at number 13, Inside at number 12, Evil Dead Rise at number 11, Nimona at number 10, Influencer at number 9, Missing at number 8, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 at number 7, Fast X at number 6, John Wick Chapter 4 at number 5, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at number 4, Oppenheimer at number 3, Barbie at number 2, and finally at number 1 was the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So that, my friends, is how that list was looking back in July 2023. Hello there, Steve-Os. Welcome along to my top 20 movies of 2023. In this video, I'm going to count down from 20 to 1 in terms of what movies I have enjoyed this year, in the year 2023, as the year comes to a close. So without further ado, let's get this video started with number 20. You're watching Steve's Top 20 Movies of 2023, right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. Number 20. So, at number 20 is the movie Sissy. Now, to be honest with you, it's a brilliant horror movie, I'm not gonna lie, from this year. I mean, I enjoy it more because of the psychological kind of side of things, you know? The psychological elements, especially like the whole character development behind Cecilia, honestly, please If you're watching this, Cecilia, please don't come and kill me, okay? Because I don't mean to call you Sissy. It's just the name of your film, okay? It's the name of your film. But anyway, Sissy was a fantastic movie. It's a Shudder original. So if you've got the horror streaming service that is Shudder, then definitely you should be checking this one out because it is a great horror movie. I enjoyed it.
Number 19.
At number 19 is No Hard Feelings. Now, I'm not going to lie, you know, it was a bit hit and miss as to whether or not Jennifer Lawrence could pull it off as a character in a comedy movie, because after all, she's been really well known in the past for doing like drama-based movies, and obviously she did like the Hunger Games franchise when that was a thing around about, what, 10, 15 odd years ago. I know, it's been that long. But No Hard Feelings, though, is probably one of my favourite rom-com movies of the year. And I know, you're probably going to be thinking, wait, you actually watch rom-coms? I don't tend to, but this happens to be one of my favourite rom-com movies of the year. I'm not gonna lie, but it's at number 19. So there's been some other great movies, okay, that have come out.
Number 18.
Next movie, which is at number 18, is Appendage. Now, Appendage is probably going to be a lesser known horror movie. It is available on Disney Plus here in the UK and around the world, I assume. And it's also available on Hulu in the United States as well. But this was a weird kind of body horror kind of movie, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, it's been so long since I last watched it, but I'm not going to lie though, I remember watching it, and I've only seen it the once, mind. And there is some movies on this list, I'm not going to lie, that I have watched more than once. But after seeing this the once though, I mean, I kind of left that movie after the credits rolled, and I was like, what the hell did I just watch? But at the same time, I was like, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a really good movie. I think it did the whole body horror kind of aspect really well. I mean, if you've not yet checked Appendage out, like I say, the movie is available on Disney Plus around the world and on Hulu in the United States.
Number 17.
2023 was the year that Evil Dead Rise got released in cinemas, and the Evil Dead franchise was back on the big screen as well, and that is coming in at number 17 on my top 20 movies of 2023. I thought it was a brilliant movie, I'm not gonna lie. I know that the Evil Dead franchise in the past has mainly been based in a cabin. This one did something a little bit different, with it being in like kind of like an apartment building kind of scenario. I thought the mother was great as one of the demons. You know, I thought all around, I thought it was great. I love the fact that this time around it focused on a family rather than like a bunch of teenage friends having like a weekend away and stuff like that. So for me, I really enjoyed Evil Dead Rise. I thought it was a brilliant horror movie this year. It is definitely up there as one of my favourite horror movies of 2023 for sure. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing more Evil Dead movies get released in the future, which, by the way, has been confirmed. The guy that did the original Evil Dead movies has kind of confirmed that we're going to see less of a gap in between Evil Dead movies. Obviously, this movie came out in 2023. The last Evil Dead movie came out back in 2013. So the next Evil Dead movie, I assume, is probably going to get released within the next 5 years or so, maybe. But Evil Dead Rise, brilliant horror movie for 2023.
Number 16.
The next movie that I have enjoyed watching, which is at number 16, is Scream 6. Now, I'm not going to lie, I do think that given the fact that recently we have lost the main cast members, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, they've obviously left their roles for Scream 7, and the director that was originally going to be doing Scream 7, Christopher Landon, has decided now to leave the role of director for Scream 7. I definitely do think that Scream 7 is doomed, and I just genuinely don't think we need a 7th installment in the franchise. I genuinely think that Scream 6 kind of wrapped it up nicely, and I think, to be honest with you, seeing that very final scene, as a matter of fact, I watched that final scene, I watched the clip of that final scene from Scream 6 earlier today over on Twitter, and I'm not going to lie, but just seeing the Carpenter sisters walk away from the crime scene and you see the ghost face mask on the floor at the end, I don't know, something tells me it's just a perfect way to end the franchise, you know, and I genuinely don't see what they could do with a 7th installment if the 7th installment is still going ahead. So, but for me though, Scream 6 was a brilliant movie. You know, obviously we did have Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers in this as well. Obviously this is the first Scream movie that we've had where we haven't seen Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott neither. But to be honest, I think Scream 6 kind of proved that we didn't need to have Sidney Prescott in the movie for it to work, you know, like obviously we've got new cast members in this film that obviously were in Scream 5 as well. And I think they did an excellent job in Scream 6 as much as they did a great job in Scream 5. So for me, Scream 6 is, again, another horror movie this year that I've really enjoyed watching. And I'm really glad that this is part of my top 20 movies of 2023.
Number 15.
Now, the next movie I have seen in 2023, which I've really enjoyed, and it's at number 15, is the movie Missing. Now, this one there's a lot of twists and turns in this movie, which, by the way, will keep you guessing, I guess, right up until the very end of the film, if you haven't seen this one. I am not going to lie, I probably watched this maybe 2 or 3 times this year. And, you know, it is an absolutely brilliant movie. I think I've seen this movie once at the cinema and twice at home. But honestly, this film kept me guessing all throughout when I watched it at the cinema, and even on the 2 rewatches that I did at home earlier this year, it's still such an enjoyable movie. And yeah, I can safely say that I do love this one a lot. And like I say, I'm really glad that this has made it to my top 20 movies of the year.
Number 14.
And then we get to number 14, and at number 14 we have got the movie Accused. Now, this one came out on Netflix a little while ago, and it's actually really funny because I was going through my list of movies that I've watched this year, and I kind of forgot about this one in a way, but I do remember it, and the reason why I remember it is because this film had me hooked all throughout. I mean, it's a British drama. It kind of left me on the edge of my seat all throughout, which I really did enjoy, to be honest. And I just thought it was a brilliant movie. You know, it was kind of it was kind of one of those things where it was a guy was in the wrong place, wrong time, and he ends up getting accused of doing something which he was completely innocent in, you know, not doing, because he didn't even do it. It wasn't even him that did it. It was just one of those misunderstanding kind of things. But anyway, if you do want to check out Accused, the movie is available on Netflix right now. I don't know if this one probably went under the radar for Netflix or not, but I mean, I remember seeing this one getting talked about a little bit on social media earlier this year. And I thought, you know what, it came up straight away on my Netflix account, and I was like, let me check this one out, because a lot of people seem to be talking about this one, and I watched it, and I can kind of see why a lot of people were talking about it, because you know, it is one of those films where you can kind of go, well, this involved a guy that happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and just kind of was mistaken for someone else.
Number 13.
And then we get to number 13. Yes, number 13. And we have got Thanksgiving at number 13. So Thanksgiving, I mean, this is obviously one of those more recently released movies, Thanksgiving. And can I just say that Eli Roth, I mean, some people will love him, some people will hate him, some people are kind of in the middle with him and his directorial movies and stuff. But with Thanksgiving, though, I really, really enjoyed this one. I mean, there was quite a lot of creative kills in it, and to be honest with you, it's a great holiday-themed movie for you guys to watch during the holiday season, especially if you live in America. I mean, it would be great for you to watch, I guess, you know, and during the Thanksgiving holiday season. But also as well, I'm really glad to say that this movie is also getting a sequel as well. So it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of years what Eli Roth does with the second movie when that does eventually get released. But what I can say, though, is this one is brilliant. I do think that the cast members are pretty decent in this as well. Like, they play their roles quite well. A lot of people can kind of guess the killer from the off. I mean, to be honest with you, it took me a while to kind of realise who the killer was. But in the end, I'm kind of like, it makes sense why the killer turned out to be this person. But yeah. But in all seriousness, so this is a brilliant movie. If you've not yet checked Thanksgiving out, then definitely do give it a watch, because it is a fantastic movie. And I do think it does deserve the praise that it needs to have.
Number 12.
And then we go on to another horror movie at number 12, which is Talk to Me. Now, a lot of people are going to say that Talk to Me is probably the number one horror movie of 2023. I'm not going to lie, if I was to do a top 10 horror movie list for 2023, then yeah, I would say that Talk to Me would be at number one. But because obviously there's been so many other great movies that have come out this year, sadly this didn't make it to my number one. But Talk to Me, though, is very brilliant. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it is a fantastic movie. And spoiler alert here, there is some other horror movies that did make it a little bit further up the list than what this one did, sadly. But Talk to Me had to be on my top 20 list of movies because it was brilliant, it was original, it did seem quite fresh as well, and not only that as well, but it was also directed by two YouTubers who are really well known for making horror movie short films for their YouTube channel as well. So that's also an added bonus. Again, similar to Thanksgiving, Talk to Me is getting a sequel, so it'll be very interesting to see where they go with this. I do remember reading that there was kind of like a prequel movie that had already been made, so I don't know if that's going to be the premise behind Talk to Me 2, or it's going to be going in a completely different direction and the prequel movie is going to be released at a later date. I don't know. But what I can say, though, is Talk to Me is a fantastic movie. Original, fresh, brilliant horror movie. Definitely do check it out. It is even available right now on Netflix in the UK as well. So if you've not yet checked this one out, definitely do give this one a go.
Number 11.
And then at number 11, I have got the movie Sympathy for the Devil. Now, this one stars Nicolas Cage. And the reason why this is at number 11, and I have seen a couple of Nicolas Cage movies this year, and I'm talking The Retirement Plan and Dream Scenario as well was the other one that I've seen this year. And I'm very surprised, actually, that Dream Scenario hasn't actually made it to my top 20 movies of the year. But there we go. But this one, though, is probably my number one Nicolas Cage movie that got released this year, and then I think that follows by Dream Scenario at number 2, and then at number 3 is The Retirement Plan. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say Renfield was a great Nicolas Cage movie that got released this year, because it really wasn't. I hated that movie a lot, not going to lie. But Sympathy for the Devil, though, is a fantastic movie. I really love this one a lot because Nicolas Cage's performance in this, I mean, his performance in this is great. Like, literally, I know, like, sometimes his performances in his roles that he does in various different movies, they can be varied. So, like, some may be good, some may be bad. This is actually one of those movies that you can go, at the end, I actually enjoyed this movie because Nicolas Cage's performance stood out for me. And it's mainly a two-hander movie, where Nicolas Cage is involved in this guy who's driving to the hospital because his wife is about to give birth. Nicolas Cage's character comes in and tells him to just drive, and he's there with a gun in his hand and stuff like that. So, I do think his performance in this is really, really thrilling, and there is some really edge-of-your-seat moments as well that you can enjoy with this movie.
Number 10.
And now we are on to our top 10, and at number 10 is John Wick Chapter 4. I do think genuinely that John Wick Chapter 4 is a fitting end to the main franchise. I'm not saying that you can't do spin-offs or anything like that. I think you can do spin-offs, that's fine, and maybe do prequels, and maybe include Keanu Reeves in those prequels if you want to. But in terms of doing like a John Wick Chapter 5 or Chapter 6 or Chapter 7, whatever, I don't think they're needed. I mean, just look at the ending of John Wick Chapter 4 and you would go, you know what? Yeah, fitting end. I know that in 2024 we're getting a ballerina movie, which is in the world of John Wick. And I know that we got that TV series as well. Was it The Continental? I think it was. And that's on Amazon Prime Video. Again, it's in the same universe as the John Wick franchise. But, I mean, yeah, I do think that John Wick Chapter 4 was a fitting end to the franchise. And I really hope and pray that we don't get any more John Wick movies like Chapter 5, Chapter 6, Chapter 7, etc.
Number 9.
And then at number 9 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, obviously, within the next couple of years, we are going to be getting Beyond the Spider-Verse, so it wouldn't at all surprise me if when I do my top 20 movies of, I think it's coming out in 2025 or 2026, it wouldn't at all surprise me if that ends up being on my top 20 movies for that year. But Across the Spider-Verse, though, was really, really amazing. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was a lot longer than Into the Spider-Verse was, running at 2 hours and 20 minutes. But you can really appreciate the animation a little bit more in this as well. And also as well, it's not just that. It does a bit of a mixture, You've got a bit of live action in there. You've also got a bit of Lego in there as well. So, like, the Lego universe is in it. And you've just got various different styles of animation in it. And really, you've got to appreciate this movie a lot more because it did take the animators and stuff a good few years for them to make this movie possible. So, I do think that this is a brilliant movie, fantastic film for 2023. And I think it is definitely up there as like one of my top 3 animated movies of the year.
Number 8.
And then we go to number 8, and number 8 is Saw X. So Saw X, I mean, I'm not going to lie, but there are some Saw movies that I have enjoyed in the Saw franchise. And obviously with this one taking place in between Saw 1 and 2, I do think it is brilliant enough to go, I can see why it's in between the first and second one, because it kind of has that same vibe, same energy as the first two, or at least the first three anyway. And I loved it. I think Tobin Bale was great, of course, as John Kramer. And obviously, you know, we have that kind of build up as to what the people did wrong in order for them to end up, you know, getting Jigsaw's revenge and stuff like that. So I think it was great. I thought the story itself was brilliant, you know, and I thought the way the film told that story as well was really great. The pacing in it was really great as well. So, and also as well, it does have a little bit of heart to it as well when you think about it, like, especially if you've seen this film and you know what happens, like, at the very end of the film as well. Like, you know, there is someone that does get involved, or who ends up in the middle of it all, and it's kind of like, well, that character doesn't deserve to be in this situation at all, because he did nothing wrong. You know, he is completely innocent in all of this. So, but anyway, Saw X is definitely up there as one of my favourite horror movies of the year. And again, I'm really glad that this made it into my top 10 movies of 2023.
Number 7.
And then at number 7 is another rom-com, actually. And again, this one really surprised me because this one is on Amazon Freevee. It's called Puppy Love, and it's by, it's also got the actress Lucy Hale in it as well, who I do recognise. She has been in a couple of horror movies, actually, like Truth or Dare and Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. I believe she's also a singer as well, I think. But Puppy Love, though, was such a lovely movie. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's got dogs in it, you know. And this one actually took me by surprise that I'd actually enjoyed this film. Because at first I kind of was thinking to myself, you know what? This is going to be one of those cliche rom-com kind of films. But it turned out, for me anyway, I'm kind of like, this was actually a really decent rom-com film, you know. And yeah, you know, I don't know. I mean, it happens to be. I mean, it happens to be much higher up than what No Hard Feelings is. So clearly, I think that tells you that I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed No Hard Feelings. And yet, No Hard Feelings was a great rom-com film. Like, even with its comedy, it was great. But this one, though, was brilliant. And I'm not gonna lie, but the other actor that's in this as well, that plays like the love interest, you know, obviously I can kind of relate to him because he's a bit of a nerd and so am I. So, you know, but yeah, so, you know, it was a brilliant movie. I really did enjoy this one.
Number 6.
And then we go up to number 6 on our top 10 movies of 2023. And at number 6 is The Passenger. So The Passenger, brilliant movie. It starts off quite violent, and then obviously it then goes into like this story of like redemption, I guess, in a way. You know, and then it goes into like the final act of the film, and it's kind of heartbreaking, to be honest, and at the same time is a little bit wholesome as well. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was played out fantastically well as well. I probably have seen this movie around about 2 or 3 times this year, because the film was brilliant. But yeah, honestly though, brilliant movie. And I thought the actors played an amazing role in their amazingly well in their respective roles. And this is one that I definitely would say, definitely do check out if you've not yet seen The Passenger.
Number 5.
And now we are into my top 5 movies of 2023, and we are starting off with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, I must say that it is one of those projects similar to Across the Spider-Verse where you just can't appreciate the animation enough. Like, the animation in this is absolutely amazing, and also as well, the voice castings in this as well are brilliant. obviously this is going to be getting a sequel, and I do believe as well that in 2024 we are going to be seeing a TV project as well, which again lines up with this movie as well. So, you know, and also as well, I do think I have heard somewhere that, I don't know if it's in the TV project or in the sequel, but I have heard that the villain in one of the two projects is going to be more terrifying than the ones in this one. But honestly, brilliant movie, standout cast, and at times really funny. Definitely one that the family should have definitely have watched in 2023. If not, definitely do check this one out.
Number 4.
And then at number 4, it's Oppenheimer. Now, I'm not going to lie, but I'm not really a big fan of, like, drama biopics. Music biopics, I enjoy. Drama biopics, though, I don't really enjoy that much. However, though, obviously, Oppenheimer was kind of like a 3-hour kind of movie. And, you know, obviously it was the story of Robert J. Oppenheimer, and obviously he was known as like the father of the nuclear bomb. And obviously we get that story, don't we, of like the nuclear bomb and stuff. And I'm not going to lie, but not only does this kind of look back on like Oppenheimer's life and stuff like that, but also as well, I think Christopher Nolan did a brilliant job in terms of making this as cinematic as possible. Like, I'm not even joking. This was a proper cinematic experience. And I'm not just talking just because it got released on the same day as what Barbie did, but I'm just genuinely talking about how cinematic this was. Like the soundtrack, you know, like the music scoring. Honestly, if you've got like a home cinema in your home, and you've not yet watched Oppenheimer, definitely watch it on your home cinema, and put the speakers up a little bit, because honestly, make it as cinematic as possible, because this one was definitely worth watching on the big screen for sure. And obviously it did really well at the box office earlier this year as well. So I'm really glad that I managed to get round to watching this one on the big screen. I did go and see it on opening day when it did get released. But all in all though, fantastic movie, lots and lots of cast members in this, a stacked cast member lineup as well in this one. Yeah, safe to say, this has definitely made it into my top 5 of the year.
Number 3.
And then we get to number 3, and shock horror here, right? This poster right here is not at number 1. You know, this didn't make it to my number 1. Made it to my top 3, but not a number 1. This is Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour movie. Now, I'm not going to lie, but obviously back in like halfway through December, Taylor Swift released the extended version of the Eras Tour. Obviously, it was only available to rent. It's not available to buy yet, to keep. But as soon as the Eras Tour extended version is available to buy and keep, I'm definitely going to buy it, because, you know, I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it, you know. And I'm really glad that Taylor Swift made this movie, you know, possible to be released in cinemas, so that everyone basically gets the opportunity to watch Taylor Swift in concert. I know it's not like, you know, like in real life, but you know, obviously you get to kind of experience it on the big screen. And to be honest with you, a lot of the cinemas, from what I was seeing on social media and stuff, they kind of made it feel like more of a concert, because obviously like they were standing up out of their seats and they were dancing, they were singing along to some of the songs, people were waving torches on their phone at some of the songs and stuff like that. So for me, my cinematic experience of watching Taylor Swift The Eras Tour concert movie on the big screen kind of felt a little bit like as if I was actually there at the concert movie. And I think that's just because the audience members that were watching it with me were just joining in some of the songs. And you know what? I'm going to throw my hands up in the air and say, yes, I also did join in some of the songs as well. Started singing along to some of the songs, okay? I'm guilty of doing that, and I'm not ashamed to admit that.
Number 2.
Now, at number 2, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, right? But I mean, literally, it's been so difficult for me to kind of go which one goes at number 1, which one goes at number 2. I mean, to be honest with you, when I first started off this list, you know, I had like 35 movies, or just over 35 movies, and I had to narrow it down to number 20, down to 20. And obviously, at the beginning of the video, you guys have seen what my top 20 movies looked like back in July this year, and now we're at the end of the year. I think you can tell by now, like, things have changed dramatically. But what I can safely say, though, is at number 2, it's Barbie. Okay? I'm not gonna lie, number 2, it's Barbie. I mean, you know, without giving away what's at number 1 just yet, but it's kind of difficult. You know, it could have been at number 1, it could have been at number 2, it could have been at number 1 again, and, you know, it was so hard for me to decide what one goes at number 1, what one goes at number 2, so I kind of just went, you know what? I think Barbie should go at number 2. Never in my life did I ever think to myself that the year would be 2023. I'd be sitting down doing a YouTube video talking through my top 20 movies of 2023. And I'm talking about the movie Barbie being at number 20, number 2. You know, and the thing is a lot of people would probably go, that should be lower down on the list. That shouldn't even make it to number 20. It should make it to number 40 or something like that. But I just can't help it. I just can't help the fact that this movie just, you know, I enjoyed watching it on the big screen. I thought it was really campy, I'm not going to lie. But it is a film that I really did enjoy watching at the cinema. And I have seen it a couple of times, but after that, you know, when it came out to be released on digital, so I have watched it a couple of times since then. But you know, I mean, again, similar to Oppenheimer, really, this one had a stacked cast. Obviously, you had Ryan Gosling, you had Ncuti Gatwa, you had Margot Robbie as well, and, you know, Kate McKinnon and all of those. So, you know, and I think Greta Gerwig did a brilliant job in making this movie. You know, obviously there is a lot of controversy behind the film. I know that some people are there going, well, this is like, you know, this is like saying that men are bad and stuff like that, like all men are bad. I genuinely didn't see it that way. I genuinely thought that, you know, it kind of dealt with like the theme of feminism and also patriarchy in a balanced kind of way, you know. So, and I do hope that there are some people out there that do agree with me on that kind of topic, that, you know, if you watch Barbie, you can kind of go, well, it does deal with the theme of feminism, but then at the same time, you know, it does delve into a little bit of the patriarchy kind of theme as well with Ken. So, for me, this film goes at number 2.
Number 1.
And then we have number 1. And I don't think this is at all surprising, to be honest. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is at number 1. Okay, I mean, I've seen a Mario movie been made before. It was a live-action movie, admittedly, but it weren't great. You know, it weren't great. But they made this one animated, and at first I was a little bit worried. Because I thought, well, Chris Pratt voicing Mario? I don't know how to feel about that. Until I watched the film, and then I was like, okay, I can see Chris Pratt being the voice of Mario. You know, I do hope that they do end up making a sequel in the future. Obviously, nothing has been greenlit yet. But I would love for there to be a sequel to this movie. I think it did really well at the box office anyway. You know, and again, I think it's one of those films that you could just easily just escape. You know, you can escape from reality, just go in, watch the film. There's no agenda behind the film or anything like that, you know. It is just a family-friendly, fun movie that anyone can enjoy watching, you know. And regardless whether you played the Mario games in the past or not, you know, I still think this is a movie that you could definitely watch and just enjoy and just have fun with watching, you know. Again, I love, like, obviously going into the world of Mushroom Kingdom on the big screen, and obviously the music composed as well throughout the film. I thought that was brilliantly done as well, you know. But yeah, in all honesty, and again, Jack Black as well. Can we just appreciate Jack Black for a second voicing Bowser in this film? Brilliant voice casting right there for Bowser, you know. And even Jack Black actually recently has said that if they were to make a sequel, then maybe do like a musical and call it Bowser's Revenge. I'm not going to lie, but after Jack Black's rendition of the song Peaches in this film earlier this year, I wouldn't mind him doing more songs, you know, singing as Bowser. I really wouldn't mind that at all. So, and even if that even is the, you know, the kind of the thing that they do in terms of, like, you know, making it into a musical and calling it Bowser's Revenge, again, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all, but I definitely do think we do need a sequel. And I think it does need to be called Bowser's Revenge regardless, because I think there's there's always some unfinished business between Mario and Bowser. Just look at the video games. There always is. But, you know, I just think that there is some unfinished business to be, you know, had with Mario and Bowser that they need to kind of wrap up. But then at the same time, I want them to continue making more Mario movies in the future. You know, like, just keep making them. Keep making them. As long as they're good, and it's getting people into the theatres, into their seats in the theatres, keep making more, because this one was a banger. And that, my friends, is my top 20 movies of the year from 2023. Let me just go back to that photo that I showed you at the beginning of this video, where obviously I did my top 20 movies of 2023 back in July 2023. Obviously, there's been a couple of changes. Obviously, Fast X has gone from that list. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning has gone from that list. Influencer, Nimona, Inside, Beau is Afraid, Megan, Cocaine Bear, Unseen, The Honeymoon, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. All of those films have gone from my top 20 movies of 2023. It was quite controversial and quite hard for me to kind of let go of those movies and go, you know what? No, I'm going to take those films out of this list completely, because honestly, they were, again, brilliant movies of this year and movies that I really, really enjoyed watching. And there is quite a few more that didn't even make it to the top 20, by the way, which I really, really did enjoy. But like I said again at the beginning of the video, there is like 63, 64 movie titles that I have not yet watched in the year 2023. And sadly, I'm going to have to bring them with me over into 2024 and try and watch them, probably across the month of January or something like that. I'm going to have to try and watch them across the month of January and give them a watch, and obviously let you guys know my thoughts on those movies during my movie wrap-up episode. So there are going to be films that I am going to be reviewing probably over the next few weeks or so, even maybe going into February, where I'm going to be talking about some of the films that got released back in 2023 that I'm still yet to watch. So, but what I am going to do though, okay, is I am going to try my best next year in 2024 to try and watch as many films as I can as and when they are released, okay, so that I'm kind of up to date with all the movies, and you know, so, but I will try my best, okay. Don't hold me to that. I wouldn't at all be surprised if this time next year we get to my top 20 movies of 2024 and I'm sat here going, well guys, I still had like another 40 or 70 odd titles left to watch from this year. So anyway, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on my top 20 movies list for 2023. And also as well, feel free to give me your top 20, top 10, top 5, top 3 movies of 2023. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. What movies you've enjoyed this year in the year 2023. And as always, if you are new around here, you like what you see, then feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to become a Stevo. So that is it. This is your last video from me for 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my content this year. A big thank you to all my supporters out there that have been watching my content this year. As always, you guys really do mean a lot, and I really do appreciate your support as always. Your next YouTube video will be out on Friday the 5th of January, 4 PM UK time, right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. It is going to be a movie wrap-up episode. But until then though, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Have a happy, safe new year. And I will see you guys again in 2024 in my next YouTube video.